Imagine standing before a towering statue of Maitreya Buddha, his serene smile radiating warmth, his half-closed eyes whispering peace to your restless heart. Have you ever wondered why that smile feels so familiar, as if it's calling you back to a truth you've always known? I have stood before countless depictions of Maitreya carved in ancient stone, painted on fragile silk, etched in the hearts of devotees, and each time I feel the same pull, a promise of hope, a reminder of compassion, a gentle nudge toward awakening. Today, I invite you to join me on a journey through the artistry of Maitreya Buddha, from the rugged caves of ancient India to the vibrant canvases of modern Asia. By the end of this, you'll see why Maitreya's image isn't just art. It's a mirror reflecting your own potential for boundless love and wisdom. Stay with me, because this is a story of how beauty becomes a bridge to your soul. As a historian and philosopher immersed in the study of Buddhism, I've spent decades tracing the threads of Maitreya's presence across cultures and centuries. Maitreya, the Buddha of the future, is more than a figure of prophecy. He is a symbol of hope, compassion, and the promise that enlightenment is within your reach. His image in art, whether a towering statue or a delicate painting, carries a message that transcends time. But to understand this, we must begin at the roots, where Maitreya's form first took shape in the hands of artisans who sought to capture the divine dot in the early centuries of Buddhism. Around the 2nd century CE, Maitreya's image emerged in the Gandhara region, a crossroads of cultures where Greek realism met Indian spirituality. I can still recall my first encounter with a Gandharan Maitreya statue in a dimly lit museum. Its flowing robes, carved with meticulous folds, seemed to ripple as if caught in a gentle breeze. The face, with its sharp nose and serene expression, felt alive, as if Maitreya himself was gazing at me. These early sculptures portrayed Maitreya as a bodhisattva, adorned with jewels and a princely crown, symbolizing his role as a future Buddha who would descend to guide humanity. The artisans of Gandhara didn't just carve stone. They infused it with a vision of a world where suffering could be transformed into joy. Why does this matter to you? Because every curve of Maitreya's robe, every detail of his smile, was crafted to remind you of your own capacity for compassion. When you gaze upon these ancient works, you're not just seeing art, you're seeing an invitation. The Gandharan artists understood this. They sculpted Maitreya with open hands, a gesture of giving, as if to say, you too can offer love to the world. I often pause before these statues and ask myself, how can I embody this generosity in my own life? And I wonder, what does Maitreya's open hand mean to you? Perhaps it's a call to let go of anger, to share kindness, or to trust in the possibility of a better future. As Buddhism spread along the Silk Road, Maitreya's image evolved, carrying the dreams and aspirations of new cultures. In the cave temples of Dunhuang, China, around the 5th century, I found Maitreya painted on walls that shimmered with color despite the passage of time. Here, he was no longer just a princely figure, but a cosmic savior, seated in a meditative pose, his eyes half closed in deep contemplation. The artists of Dunhuang painted Maitreya surrounded by celestial beings, their vibrant reds and golds evoking a paradise that feels both distant and intimately close. Standing in those caves, I felt a lump in my throat, as if Maitreya's presence was whispering to me, "This peace is not far away, it's within you." These paintings weren't meant to be mere decorations. They were created to stir something deep within you, to awaken a longing for enlightenment. The artist chose every color, every brushstroke with care, knowing that you might one day stand before their work and feel the weight of your own potential. When I trace the lines of these ancient murals, I'm reminded of how Maitreya's image is a bridge between the human and the divine. It's a reminder that you don't need to wait for a future Buddha to find peace. You can cultivate it now, in this very moment. But what makes Maitreya's image so powerful? It's the way it speaks to your heart. Unlike the stern, austere figures of some traditions, Maitreya's depictions are warm, approachable, even joyful. In Chinese art, he is often shown with a broad, infectious smile, his belly round and full, a symbol of abundance and contentment. This is the Maitreya you may know as the laughing Buddha, a figure who invites you to laugh with him, to find joy even in life's imperfections. I've seen devotees light incense before these statues, their faces softening as they whisper prayers. And I've wondered, what burdens do you carry that Maitreya's smile could lighten? What joy could you rediscover if you allowed yourself to laugh with him? This evolution of Maitreya's image, from the regal bodhisattva of Gandhara to the joyful figure of East Asia, reflects a universal truth. Compassion adapts to the needs of the people. The artists who shaped these images weren't just creating beauty, they were crafting a message for you. They wanted you to see that enlightenment isn't a distant dream, but a path you can walk today. As I've studied these works, I've come to see Maitreya's art as a dialogue, a conversation between the artist, the Buddha, and you. Each statue, each painting, asks you to pause, to reflect, and to remember who you truly are. So, as we close this first part of our journey, I ask you to hold this image in your mind. Maitreya's smile, warm and knowing, reaching out across centuries to meet you where you are. In the next part, we'll travel deeper, exploring how Maitreya's image took on new forms in Southeast Asia and beyond, carrying with it the dreams of countless devotees. Stay with me, because this journey is about more than art. It's about discovering the light within you. Asterisk. Have you ever felt a moment of peace so profound that it seemed to ripple outward, touching everyone around you? That's the essence of Maitreya Buddha, the future teacher whose image has traveled across continents, carrying a promise of compassion that speaks to every heart. In part 1, we stood before the serene statues of Gandhara and the vibrant murals of Dunhuang, feeling Maitreya's call to awaken the love within us. Now, I invite you to journey with me to the lush jungles of Southeast Asia and the tranquil temples of Japan, where Maitreya's image takes on new forms, each one whispering a truth that feels like it was crafted just for you. As we explore these sacred artworks, I ask you, what does Maitreya's presence mean in your life? Stay with me, because this is where his image becomes a mirror for your own journey toward enlightenment. As Buddhism spread southward into Southeast Asia around the 7th century, Maitreya's image began to reflect the spirit of new cultures, each one infusing his form with their own dreams and devotion. In the ancient kingdom of Srivijaya, in what is now Indonesia, I've marveled at stone reliefs of Maitreya, carved into the walls of temples like Borobudur. These sculptures, weathered by time yet radiant with grace, show Maitreya seated in a lotus pose, his hands forming the gesture of teaching. The artisans of Srivijaya carved him with a gentle tilt of the head, as if he's leaning toward you, ready to share the wisdom of the Dharma. Standing before these reliefs, I've felt a quiet stirring in my chest, as if Maitreya is saying, "You are never alone on this path." What makes these Southeast Asian depictions so special? They capture Maitreya's role as a teacher, a guide who promises to lead humanity out of darkness. The artisans chose to portray him with a calm, focused gaze, as if he's looking directly into your soul, inviting you to learn, to grow, to become. I often think of the devotees who, centuries ago, knelt before these images, their hearts heavy with questions. What did they ask Maitreya? What do you ask him now? Perhaps it's guidance through a difficult moment, or courage to face the unknown. In these carvings, Maitreya's presence feels like a hand extended to you, offering strength and clarity. In Thailand, Maitreya's image took on a new vibrancy, reflecting the warmth and resilience of the Thai people. Around the 13th century, in the Sukhothai period, I encountered bronze statues of Maitreya that seemed to glow with an inner light. These figures, with their slender forms and graceful postures, often depicted Maitreya standing, one hand raised in a gesture of fearlessness. The Thai artisans crafted him with a softness that feels almost human, as if he's a friend walking beside you. I remember touching the cool surface of one such statue, feeling the smoothness worn by countless hands over centuries. It made me wonder, how many people have stood here, seeking solace? And how can Maitreya's fearless gesture inspire you to face your own fears? This fearlessness is a gift Maitreya offers you through his art. In a world filled with uncertainty, his image reminds you that courage comes from compassion for yourself and others. The Thai depictions, with their delicate features and flowing robes, seem to say, "You are stronger than you know." I've seen devotees light candles before these statues, their faces illuminated by flickering flames, and I've felt the weight of their hopes. What hopes do you carry? What fears could you release if you trusted in Maitreya's promise of a brighter future? As we move to Japan, Maitreya's image known there as Miraku Basatsu takes on a contemplative depth that resonates deeply with the Zen tradition. In the temples of Nara and Kyoto, around the 8th century, I've stood before wooden statues of Miraku, their surfaces polished to a soft sheen by time and reverence. These figures often show Maitreya in a meditative pose, one leg crossed over the other, his hand resting gently on his cheek as if lost in thought. The Japanese artisans captured a quiet intensity, a sense that Maitreya is waiting not passively, but with purpose for the moment when he will guide the world toward awakening. This waiting is not idle. It's a reminder that your own journey requires patience and presence. When I gaze at these statues, I feel a stillness settle over me, as if Maitreya is teaching me to pause, to breathe, to trust in the unfolding of life. Have you ever felt that urge to rush forward, to fix everything at once? Miraku's serene expression invites you to slow down, to find wisdom in the present moment. The Japanese artists understood this, carving Maitreya with a gentleness that feels like a warm embrace. They wanted you to know that enlightenment isn't a race. It's a path you walk step by step, with love and awareness. That's what unites these diverse depictions, from the stone reliefs of Indonesia to the bronze statues of Thailand and the wooden figures of Japan, is their ability to touch your heart. Each culture shaped Maitreya in its own image, yet the essence remains the same: a promise of compassion, a vision of hope, a call to awaken. As a scholar, I've spent years studying these artworks, but as a seeker, I've felt their power in my bones. They remind me that Maitreya's future is not just a distant prophecy. It's a possibility you can embody now, through acts of kindness, moments of stillness, and the courage to keep going. As we prepare to move into part 3, I invite you to carry this question with you. How can Maitreya's image inspire you to live with greater compassion today? In the final part, we'll explore how modern artists have reimagined Maitreya, bringing his message into our contemporary world, and how you can bring his light into your own life. Stay with me, because this journey is about discovering the Buddha within you. What if the smile of Maitreya Buddha could live within you, lighting up every step of your daily life? In parts 1 and 2, we traveled through time, from the ancient stone carvings of Gandhara to the vibrant temples of Southeast Asia and the serene statues of Japan, witnessing how Maitreya's image has carried hope and compassion across centuries. Now, I invite you to stand with me in the present moment, where Maitreya's artistry continues to evolve, reflecting the dreams and struggles of our modern world. This final part isn't just about art, it's about you, about how Maitreya's promise can become a living truth in your heart. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll see that Maitreya's light isn't just in statues or paintings, It's in the way you choose to live. As a scholar of Buddhist art and philosophy, I've seen how Maitreya's image adapts to the pulse of each era. In the 20th and 21st centuries, artists around the world have reimagined Maitreya in ways that speak to our shared hopes and challenges. In China, for instance, I've stood before contemporary sculptures of Maitreya, often depicted as the laughing Buddha with a round belly and a joyous grin, placed in bustling urban temples. These modern works, crafted in smooth marble or gleaming bronze, radiate a warmth that feels like an antidote to the chaos of city life. The artists carve Maitreya with children climbing on his lap, symbolizing innocence and the promise of a brighter future. Looking at these statues, I feel a spark of joy, as if Maitreya is reminding me, and you, to find laughter, even in the midst of stressed out. These modern depictions are more than art. They're a call to action. When you see Maitreya surrounded by children, what does it stir in you? For me, it's a reminder to nurture the childlike wonder within myself, to approach life with curiosity and kindness. The Chinese artists working in a world of rapid change chose to portray Maitreya as a figure of joy because they knew you might need that reminder. Life can feel heavy, bills to pay, conflicts to navigate, dreams that seem out of reach, but Maitreya's smile says, you can find peace even now. Have you ever paused to laugh at a small moment, to let joy break through? That's Maitreya's gift, alive in these modern works, urging you to embrace lightness in your heart. In the West, Maitreya's image has taken on new forms, blending tradition with innovation. In galleries from New York to London, I've seen contemporary Buddhist artists paint Maitreya in abstract styles, using bold colors and fluid lines to capture his essence. One painting that stays with me shows Maitreya as a radiant figure in gold and blue, his form dissolving into a swirl of light, as if he's both present and infinite. The artist explained to me that this was Maitreya as compassion itself, not bound by form, but flowing into every corner of existence. Standing before that canvas, I felt a surge of awe, as if Maitreya was inviting me to see beyond the surface of things, to see the divine in you, in others, in the world. This modern approach to Maitreya's image challenges you to look deeper. It asks, where do you find compassion in your life? Is it in the way you listen to a friend, forgive a mistake, or care for a stranger? These paintings, with their vibrant hues and open forms, remind you that Maitreya's future isn't a distant prophecy. It's unfolding through your actions. As a philosopher, I've spent years contemplating Maitreya's role as the future Buddha, but as a human, I've learned that his promise begins with me and with you. Every kind word, every moment of patience, is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your life. But how do you bring Maitreya's light into your everyday world? This is where the art of Maitreya becomes more than a visual experience. It becomes a practice. In my own life, I've found that meditating on Maitreya's image helps me reconnect with compassion. Try this. Picture Maitreya's smile, whether it's the serene gaze of a Gandharan statue or the joyful laugh of a Chinese sculpture. Let that image fill your heart and ask yourself, how can I share this warmth today? Maybe it's a small act, offering a smile to someone who looks weary, or pausing to breathe before responding in anger. These moments are where Maitreya lives, not just in art, but in you. In Buddhist teachings, Maitreya is the Buddha of loving kindness, the one who will guide humanity when the time is right. But the art of Maitreya, across centuries, from ancient caves to modern galleries, tells you that you don't have to wait. The future he promises is here, in the choices you make, the love you give, the peace you cultivate. I've walked through temples and museums, studying these images, but the real lesson came when I realized that Maitreya's smile is a reflection of my own potential and yours. When you look at his image, whether carved in stone or painted on canvas, you're seeing a mirror of your own heart, capable of boundless compassion. God, as we close this journey, I want to leave you with a final thought. The next time you feel lost or overwhelmed, picture Maitreya's face, his gentle eyes, his knowing smile. Let it remind you that you carry his light within you. The artists who shaped his image over millennia weren't just creating beauty. They were crafting a message for you. You are enough. Your kindness, your courage, your presence, they are the seeds of a better world. So go forward, dear friend, and let Maitreya's smile guide you. Live with love, and you'll find that the future Buddha is already here in you. As we conclude this journey through the artistry of Maitreya Buddha, from the ancient stone carvings of Gandhara to the vibrant modern paintings of the West, I find myself reflecting on the profound lessons woven into these sacred images. Maitreya's depictions, spanning centuries and cultures, teach us that compassion is timeless, adapting to every era, yet rooted in the universal truth of love and awakening. His serene smile in Gandharian statues reminds us to offer kindness freely, even in a world of chaos. The vibrant murals of Dunhuang show that peace is not a distant paradise, but a spark within our hearts, waiting to be kindled. In Southeast Asia's graceful reliefs and Japan's contemplative miraku, we learn patience and courage, understanding that enlightenment unfolds step by step. The joyful, laughing Buddha of Vietnam and the abstract light of Western art urge us to find joy in the present and see the divine in every moment. Together, these artworks reveal that Maitreya's promise is not just a future hope, it's a call to embody compassion, wisdom, and presence now. For you, this means every small act of kindness, every pause to breathe, every choice to forgive is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your life. In today's fast-paced world, where stress and division often overshadow our days, I urge you to carry Maitreya's smile within you. Pause before reacting, offer a gentle word to someone struggling, and trust that your actions ripple outward, creating a brighter future. Let Maitreya's light guide you to live with love, not tomorrow, but today, because the Buddha of the future begins with the compassion you share right now.